Welcome, beautiful souls here. And you remember, you just didn't land here by accident. You showed up boldly and bravely and maybe even a little bit scared, but you showed up. And that tells me really everything I need to know about you, that you're ready to be here in this moment right now and ready to rewrite your money story. And many of us are. Maybe we were successful at one time, or we just never have that money. Whatever your situation is, absolutely understand. I've been there myself, and many of us here have, and that's why we're here to not give you a handout, but to give you a hand up and ready to reclaim your voice, because your voice is what speaks to not only for you and how much of enough that you are and how successful you will be. It's the strength of you, the tonality of you, but your voice is what tells your story, and it will show your worth. And if you're ready to say, I deserve more and I'm going after it, this is it. This is the time. Your voice is your worth. And it just isn't a workshop that we're here for today. And if you're watching the recording, we're so glad that you're here, because we're going to set the intention and add this wonderful sparkle of energy and the community that has showed up for you at this time, at the time that you're ready for it. And it's a space where survivors step right into their power. Well, their healing turns that sometimes it seems like it's a hustle, but it doesn't have to be. You're not there anymore. We're going to show you how to lift up and level up even past that, and where futures are rewritten in real time. So right now, right here, we will be with you here today and the next day. So don't just pop in that recording thinking that you're going to get that last little tidbit, but pop in that knowing that we're going to always share this with you, this energy, and we're here for you at any time. Just reach out. And we're here to talk dollars and a little bit of dreams. And sometimes it's a pain point for some people. You want to bring that credit, confidence, and your worth, your love, your voice is your credit here, and it's purposeful. That's what brings in those entrepreneurial spirits. And this is where we drop the shame at the door and we pick up the game plan. We want to allow you and give you permission, but we want to share with you those boundaries to allow you to step through those doorways at the time that you're ready for it. And you yourself say, I give myself permission to move forward. So thank you for being with us. And we're here to turn those breakdowns into breakthroughs, and we're going to do it together. So take a breath and let it out. Just let it go. Let that stuff go. Grab your notebook, open up your heart, and because this is what's going to happen today, and this could be the very thing that shifts everything for your tomorrow. Wake up on a good note. We're here for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction, Nicole. I just want to say, for those that are new, my name is Agape Garcia, and Confronting Domestic Violence is founded from a personal experience. I'm a survivor of a double attempted homicide while I was 8 months pregnant, 1,000 miles away from home with an 8-year-old present, no family, friends, or anyone that I knew around me. So I know all too well what it is like to not have the resources needed in order to do what needs to be done real time as it relates to being in that survival mode and that survival mindset, needing to get away and be independent to provide for myself and my children. I am elated to be on this webinar with this group today of people that we have shared similar stories with same frustrations, feelings, and mindsets. And through our own personal journey, we had to break through, like Nicole was saying. There are breakthroughs, and it's not handing out, but handing up, leveling up, and understanding the coping skills and the mindset that is needed in order to break through some of these conditioned traumas that we've experienced. So with that said, I just want to open up the floor to anybody who would like to share a story or provide some insight or anything that you feel would be relevant to the topics that we're talking about today.
Okay, so you're talking about your voice and your worth, so the relevance of today. And I know that, not having been in that situation, and I'm so glad to meet you on this other side here. every day. It's such a blessing to be part of confronting domestic violence. And me, I don't say that lightly. But really, I think that the importance of this and what I love about this workshop and the other ones that we're planning is that perhaps even like myself, having struggled with that voice and that worth. And it's, do you feel that this is the power when you got your power back, when you claimed your power, how much your life turned around when you were able to do that?
Right, absolutely. And that turnaround is definitely like night and day, right? It takes the tenacity in order to have that turnaround, meaning almost the same definition of insanity. You cannot hope for something to change if you are not changing within, right? So same actions will result in the same outcome. You change your actions, the outcome will be different. And with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I think it's the perfect time to talk about one of the most significant contributors to that stress and anxiety, which is that money. Our model here on these summits is to bring awareness, provoke thought, provide training, offer resources, and give tools to deploy. Its transformation takes strength. And I just want to share some statistics that I pulled together. According to the American Psychological Association, 72% of adults report feeling stressed about money. And that stress doesn't just impact our wallets, it affects our sleep, it affects our relationships, it affects our focus, and even our physical health. As a matter of fact, a message that came through from the National Network to End Domestic Violence said that financial abuse is one of the most pervasive yet often overlooked forms of control in abusive relationships, affecting an estimated 99% of survivors. So, the lasting and damage that money can do, it can ruin your credit, it can ruin the limits, it can limit you from accessing housing, employment, and that independence that we were talking about. So, from CDV, mental health isn't just about managing your emotions. It's also about eliminating the stressors that you can control. If you can identify them, more than likely you can control them. And that is where your financial future lies. So let's take those next steps towards peace and prosperity together. All right. So if we want to talk a little bit about what is financial abuse, signs and the impact of financial control, finding the resources, let's do that. We'll dive right in. Let's get to here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit late on this. I talked about our mission earlier. Our mission at CDV is to provide real-time resources to real-time victims and survivors while offering relocation assistance when parents have a safe place to go and not the means to get there. So we are helping to bridge that gap of that big stressor with those finances. We don't think or believe that you should have to choose between safety and housing. A lot of times, homelessness is a result of escaping violence and not having the finances to either get your own place or get to a safe place. So that's where we step in and bridge that gap. All right. So that financial empowerment that we're going to be going through today, tools for healing, independence, mental health. We are all about being survivor centered. Our approach to this is about financial security and understanding that financial abuse. And that's what we're about to get into right now. So the signs of financial abuse. Okay, it's control. It is absolute control. And here's a few examples of what that looks like. The controlling access of money. All right, that could look like this. One partner keeps all the money, even if both earn money. And that one partner decides when and how it should be spent. That's an example. For forbidding you to work or earn money, I feel that's pretty straightforward. Telling a partner they can't have a job or sabotaging, going as far as sabotaging their work efforts or school efforts for that matter to further their education, to advance their career, or even forcing them to quit. Stealing money or valuables. Obviously, that's taking it without your permission, accessing your debit or credit cards without your consent, just using someone else's information altogether. Demanding your financial passwords, monitoring every single purchase, forcing a partner to share online banking passwords to give up control of personal finances and flexibility and independence to spend your money as you wish. Like I said earlier, criticizing or questioning every dollar spent, demanding receipts, needing approval for minor expenses, threatening your financial stability if you leave. Threats like, if you leave me, I'll destroy your credit or you'll have nothing without me. Things of that nature. This is that control and abuse, power and control and abuse. It's all tied in together. And the impact, the impact is exactly this. There's a loss of personal freedom. Then there's those emotions that come with that, the stress level that comes with that. Are you confident? Do you feel that you have the strength to do it? Are you strong enough? Can you handle it? Do you have this blanket of doubts, or are you taking that blanket off of you? The constant isolation from the friends and the family and the support. Why? Because you're embarrassed and because you're not feeling like yourself, and all of these different factors are just weighing extremely heavy. And these are all of the things that you can identify because these are the signs. You know you better than anyone else. So if you're experiencing, you or anyone that you know are experiencing any of these things, this is what it is. This is the definition of financial abuse and control. Can also ruin your education and career opportunities. You can feel trapped in that relationship and be stuck in that relationship. And then those long-term debts and financial harm. Again, the credit being ruined and figuring out how will you ever get out of debt, or filing bankruptcy has its other repercussions. So if we have Mike here, not sure if we do yet or not, but if we don't, this is a perfect opportunity for us to talk about experiences or help that we have either gone through ourselves or have offered other people as we see or saw them going through a financial control situation. No? No one?
I'll speak a little bit on that. For me, my experiences, which were varied, but it fell along all of that. So basically, controlling the money. I've always been one that had made my own income and made very good income. And then a lot of the relationships I had, I was always the one that made more money. And then the table started to turn, and I basically lost my employment. And when that happened, as I said, the tables turned. It had gotten so bad to where I couldn't even get personal items. Like, I had to go through them to get personal items, or get the promise of, after we pay all of this, that maybe we can buy you some underwear or things of that nature. It's just the humiliation and the embarrassment and the hurt, because you trust and you believe when you come together that, we're in this together. But then to get deep in it and then realize that you're not, right? So that was just one of the devastating things as it relates to that financial abuse and control.
Wow. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. And what an experience. Here we have a very well educated woman and professional. And it just goes to show that domestic violence does not discriminate. You just don't know sometimes until you're challenged with an unforeseen situation. And then the outcome is you now need to lean on your partner. And in your situation, that's what it seemed to be. You were the breadwinner. And then when you needed to lean on your partner for support, that was when it all flipped. Wow. Yeah. And there's so many different approaches and tactics that people have when it comes time to feel that they have control. And I want to talk a little bit about that financial control versus like the economic control, because there is a difference, but there seems to be like this gray area where it overlaps a little bit. And I would like to talk a little bit about the differences between the two. What I understand the financial control to be is everything that we already went through and what Angela shared. And the economic control is where people or your partner wants to say things such as, I'll take you off of my health insurance. You know what? I'm going to stop paying your phone bill. I'm going to make sure that your name is only on the mortgage or only on the lease to the apartment or only on the loan to the vehicle when they don't have a job and the other person does. So now their name is tied to everything, and now they're being controlled economically because they can't even go anywhere if they wanted to or tried, because their partner entangled them into everything that's supposed to be theirs combined, but now just put it onto that one person.
That is not fun. I've got Agape. I think Kelly has her hand up. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, great. I did not. Thank you for letting me know.
Yes,
Kelly,
and
great.
welcome, Mike, for being in the room. Mike
Yeah,
just
no,
popped in.
I was just going to add a different perspective, because even though I didn't deal with physical abuse, I dealt with emotional, verbal, you name it, abuse, because my ex was a covert narcissist. And the thing I'm struggling with now, which I don't know if you're going to talk about this or not, but I am dealing with he controlled in different ways. Angela had a little bit more extreme situation where they were controlling like how she could spend her money. His manipulation wasn't quite as direct as that, because he never wanted to look like the bad guy. So he would do things in a covert way of hiding money, spending money he didn't tell me about, credit card debt, loans, things that I would find out about later. And we were married, so of course it impacted me regardless. And then when we eventually did get divorced, and this is after decades, he manipulated things so that I didn't get alimony, left me with a business, but then destroyed the business so that I didn't have income. Even when I was able to pivot from that, because I'm an educated, smart person and talented in many different areas, when I pivoted and got into a different career, he's trying to destroy that career. He's messing with child support. He's messing with other terms of our divorce where he was supposed to give me money, hasn't given me money. Trying to then deal with the court system to enforce the divorce decree. You get slapped with the attitude of, you should have known better. You should have had a better agreement. You should have done this. You should have done this. It's my fault that he's being this way. And then trying to get the court, then trying to go through all the steps to get the court to enforce things and recognize that he committed fraud, that he stole money, that this and that. And the other thing, there's no support. Certainly there's no support from the court system. And I fell into the trap of not getting any support from friends and family because it was too embarrassing. We had been together for so long. People had a certain image of us. So not wanting to shatter that image, not wanting them to shatter their idea of who I am, I had literally have had no support. I did just break down that wall a little bit and did have to, was forced into a position of having to tell my family some things because of some financial decisions I'm going to have to make that's going to impact my life, their interactions with their grandchildren. So I did have to tell them what might happen. That was the first time that I've told them even anything about our relationship. And that was just the whole issue about the court bit. But the whole point being that, yeah, you can very easily be pushed into a situation of shame, embarrassment, isolation. And then even when you try to get help, whether it's through the court system or from your family, it will definitely depend on the individual if you even get any kind of support at all. And even when you think you've got resources like the court, lawyers aren't very helpful or supportive. And yeah, the court system is definitely not supportive to women. They don't want to recognize financial abuse either. That's the problem too. Because if you even try to bring it up, like if I were to ask for a psych evaluation, which he has other mental health issues that were luckily dealt with in the divorce decree. But even if I were to bring up mental health issues and ask for a psych eval or do any of that, it comes back on me. The fingers are pointed at me, not at him for his behavior. So I don't know if you're going to talk at all about those kind of systems or not, but that's something I personally have been dealing with exactly like what you're talking about. And I did also end up with a lot of long-term debt in that situation too. So yeah, a lot of things that you're talking about affect me in a different way.
Wow. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. I am more than happy to definitely talk to you offline more about this, offer some resources and talk more about where you are today. I'm not sure if all of that has already been quote unquote cleaned up, but we can definitely have a conversation.
Sure. No, it's in process. We went to mediation, which was a complete disaster and headed for court, but that's a whole other ball of wax.
And there's some things I prefer not to say while we're being recorded.
Understood.
Let's definitely chat offline. Yeah, but we will hit on some of those things throughout this training, definitely. Thank you so much, Kelly. I look forward to connecting with you. Mike, you see your face on here?
I do, my friend. How are you today? Sindel was telling me, are you going to be here? I was like, I'm supposed to be here too, but then I was like, I could come in early. Hope you don't mind.
Not at all. Oh, thank you for being here. Please give yourself a introduction and we're all ears.
Oh, am I going now?
Oh, do you not want to? You want to chat a little bit?
I can present now. I just thought it was 2, but if you want me to go now, I'm always ready. You know that.
Oh, you know what? Let me share a video. Let's break the ice and then
Yeah. You have plenty more cool stuff to share.
I do. All right. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I know. I'm going to give it to what I do, but first, let me do this. And who still wants it? I really. We're going to do this. What's it down? My dear series, I've just showed you a very important lesson. No matter what I did with this money, you still wanted it because it never lost its worth. It's still worth $20. There are many times in our lives when we feel like life is crumbled with something around us in the day. We may make some bad decisions or have to deal with some poor circumstances. Lives didn't make us feel worthless. No matter what has happened, no matter what will happen. Never lose your value. Never forget that.
What do you think about that? Yeah, I thought that was pretty profound. No matter what, you can be crumbled. You can feel like you're as low as the dirt, but you know what? Do not lose your worth. All right, Mike, come on in.
No, it's true. Oh my gosh, it's so true. I deal with it too. I haven't been through the exact things that some of the ladies and folks that you help have been, but just so you'll know. If you don't know me yet, I'm Mike Asherbranner, and I'll do the formal introduction. But I had met Agape. Gosh, how long ago was it, Agape? When did we meet? Do you remember? Because my memory, I can't remember anything.
Yes, it was September of 2024.
Wow, she done got it on the calendar. Good. No, that's good. And so here's why this is important. I like to help people in generals, right? But I don't talk about finance much in public anymore. And the reason is, long story short, is that when I came to LinkedIn to share my financial knowledge, nobody wanted to hear it. Right? So now I help people through my business community, Hounds of Business, and help them make money. And it's real easy after they earn money and grow their business and learn how to be a master attractor to say, hey, before you piss away 20 grand out the window, let's chat. So now you built that trust. I say that because when I met Agape, I was extremely inspired. Just so you'll understand why I'm here, is because I didn't grow up too easy. Grew up from dirt, bounced around from the country, suburbs, even inner city, which was a nightmare. And but anyway, from 6 years old to about 12, I remember my mom being a victim of domestic violence, folks. So when I met Agape, at least from the outside looking in, it was a no-brainer to me, right? To overcome those circumstances, no self-belief, no confidence, you're not worth it, blah, blah, blah. It's not just for folks in a romantic situation or married and mentally or physically, financially. It happens to a lot of folks. And let me tell you something. If you don't believe anybody else, believe this or try to. Other people going through the same shit, same self-doubt, same problems, same very much. They don't feel like they're good enough. Oh, yeah, even at the upper echelon. Believe me, I'm there. It's still there. Other people are just better at hiding it than we are. That's what I've noticed. All right. So there's something wrong with me, no. Just the fact that you're thinking that is a call to work, call for the inner work, folks. So just keep doing it. You're here. All right. You're watching on recording. So that's the first step. And that's not bullshit. That's not the stuff that comes from the self-help section, which I found to be about 95% complete crap. That comes from knowledge and experience. So anyway, when I met Agape, I understood, at least from my perspective, of how much courage, desire, and passion and true worth, right, it would take for her to come out from that to do what she does today. Same for you. You came out today, you could have made a million excuses and you didn't. So instead of just believing the negative narrative, well, we look at the empirical evidence. Let's look at the facts, right? You can. Now, is it going to be easy? Hell no, it ain't going to be easy. Right? Nothing worth having is easy. But can it be done? It can. Question is, are you going to do it? And it's going to suck. All right. So somebody had mentioned about narcissists and stuff. Yeah, I've hit that a lot in my life, but it's made me who I am today very quickly and who I will become and the impact I will make from that. Long story short, it starts with this personal full responsibility. All right. At least it did for me. I don't know. Maybe other people were different. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. Doesn't mean other people were okay. Doesn't mean they should have betrayed you. No, they shouldn't. But it does mean you have to deal with it, right? And once you understand that, hey, if I'm in a position I don't like to be internally, externally, I can change it. That's empowering. All right. So you're in good company, folks. There's good people here. So I didn't want to preach, but I want you to understand. I get it. All right. And this is an honor to be here because if you have the courage to branch out and do this, whatever age, whatever circumstance, you're not alone. People believe in you. Okay. I do. And I know these ladies do. Nicole, thank you. And Sindel, good people. All right. So let me get into this because I don't want to teach a sermon and drop all of this big words. And so if you ever go to a financial webinar or seminar, oftentimes, more times than not, you'll walk away just like somebody spoke Chinese and you don't know Mandarin, right? Like you just, holy cow. And I want to make sure that we address the most important elephant in the room, folks, which is mindset, right? And taking those baby steps because math is easy. Financial math really isn't complicated, but why don't we do it? Same thing with everything, right? Like if we eat better, we read books, we exercise, we're going to get better. But something in our brain says, no, Nicole can do it. If she follows the exercise plan, she'll get better, but I won't. And that's where the horse shit, we got to address that. So I want to give you all this concrete, a couple things that you can use, right? Baby steps that will lead to bigger steps because small wins, at least in my life, small wins add up, right? Because when that little tape goes off, go, oh, you can't do that. You ain't nobody, right? That was luck. You look back, go, wait a minute, that ain't luck. I did it like 16 times. And that's okay if you feel this way, all right? I'm being vulnerable here. It happens to all of us, human condition. So I want to empower you and encourage you, but I want to give you some takeaways. No nonsense. All right. So anyway, If you don't know me and what I do in the financial end, I choose by 1000% choice to run my business through the Primerica platform. Been around since 1977, Fortune 1000 company on the New York Stock Exchange. No, I'm not trying to sell you stock. And yes, I got to say that publicly because I'm a fiduciary. All right. So I'm not just selling mutual funds and whatnot. Nothing wrong with that. But my job, I have to operate legally in your best interest, which I would do anyway. So anything I say, folks, I'm just saying as truth. Okay. And also experience of what I've learned. And I want you to walk away going, oh, wow, I can do this because you can. All right. So anyway, so you'll know me a little bit. Yeah, I went from a grunt worker. I'll tell this little bit of story because I know I only got 30 minutes and God, I can go 30 hours, right, Nicole? So yeah, I like words, whatever. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't choose this path. And that's probably a common theme amongst groups like this. I didn't consciously choose this. And just as it can work in the negative, it can also work in the positive. Let me tell you what I mean. So I'm over here. I did everything I was supposed to do to be successful, right? I got a good job. I got 2 college degrees. I'm an overly educated pink neck. Yes, I am known as the redneck connector. And at the time, I did everything I was supposed to be, but I was miserable. I wanted to be somebody and do something special, like massive. I always wanted to build a big business and help people, but I grew up with dirt. You can't even burn dirt, ladies. I had no clue, no internet, no free information everywhere. It was the 80s, right? And early 90s. And so anyway, I just did the best I could. And the end result was that my wife and I bought a home back in 2007, and it had foundation issues. The guy built the homes like that just because that's how people are, right? So people just don't have no damn character and they just take advantage of people. So I went out there, 6-year-old home, everything. I was driving 40 miles one way to a shit job I couldn't stand. And that was the American dream, right? That's what I was told to do. And so what happened was I had to file bankruptcy to get out of that. Now that's devastating. That's devastating to a guy who puts in the effort, puts all the hard work, and the result of that is crap, right? I think folks can probably relate to that sentiment. So here's what happened. And I'm not getting preachy with this. I'm just telling you a story. I reverse engineered it. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. I don't think it is in your life either. I put myself out there. It's the hardest thing to do. That's why I respect Agape so much. She put herself out there. That was the biggest part of the battle right there. Just, can I go out there and do this? Can I relive these things? So I had put myself out there, and I was filing bankruptcy. God, I was embarrassed. And so I went out there to my cousin's house. He was a goofball. He's a good man. He's honest, but he's a goofy guy, right? And so I'm at his house playing cards, trying to forget about all my issue. And he pulls out this folder, and he's, oh man, I'm going to pay my house off in 8 years, and we're going to be financially free at 65, and all of this. And I said, here's what I said, lady. I said, get the hell away from me, man. You must be drunk. That's all there. I said, get away from me. He must be partying too much. So the next day, this man called me. His name was Rick. He's been my mentor for 15 plus years now. But at the time, I didn't know who he was. And he calls me and I can help you financially. Ladies, oh my gosh. If it wasn't for my cousin, I'd have hung up him and blocked him as soon as I could, but I didn't. Here's 3 reasons I didn't. Number 1, I never heard of a financial person wanting to work with a broke person before. They always want the big fish and the millionaires. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I just never seen it. It's still the date. It's hard to imagine. Number 2, my cousin's goofy, but I trusted him. I knew he wasn't going to steer me into something, at least consciously, that was garbage. All right. So he had my ear because of that relationship. And that's key. You're forging relationships with people. Keep doing that. That's going to give you more safety and assurance and allow you to get those training wheels off on anything you do. And number 3, I'm filing bankruptcy, Nicole. What the hell is he going to do to me? Even if he is screwing me over, I ain't got no money, and the government's going to make sure he don't get me. So those 3 reasons, not the best reasons, but they were enough. Okay. Let's fast forward. All of those things that I wanted to accomplish inside, this man had the answer for. And the difference is that now I had the solution. For the first time in my life, I had an opportunity to be somebody, to grow. And boy, I was scared to death. So I want you to know, that's where I come from. I don't come from the pedestal. I'm not preaching. I get it. I get it here and I get it here. I understand it. All right. So before we jump into the concepts, I want to make sure that you guys get this. Let me put your mind at ease here. All right. First of all, ask yourself the question. I ain't gonna call anybody out, but you feel free to chat if you want to. It's totally up to you. But, let me explain what financial wellness and independences are all about, because you can't think it's too elusive, right? And it's not. It's compound effect. right? So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm too old, too poor, not skillful, don't have a penny, blah, 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 not disciplined enough, right? Like, join the club, all right? It takes money to make money. We can go on and on, okay? First of all, you just have to work on that, like I said earlier, your belief. So allow me to do this, and I will give you some concrete info, and I'll give you some free takeaways, all right? And I'll also open up the door if you do want to have a chat, no pressure, all right? I don't sell anything. I just show people stuff, and they can do it if they want to or not. Timing's everything. But I want to make sure you understand. So here's the question, ladies. What is financial independence? What is wealth, rich, whatever you want to call it? What is that elusiveness, right? Especially when you're a poor country dude, right? What is that? And I think when we define this and get clear on it, it helps us. When the mind gets it and we're comfortable, now we'll actually do the shit, right? I don't want to work out until I realize I don't want the effects of not working out, right? I want to be that. I have to pay the price. So calm down and say, okay, what is financial independence? Let me share what I got for you. I found this the long way, the hard way, until I found a bunch of people that agreed and told me I wasn't full of crap. Think about it. It's a law. It's a principle, right? Just back to my comment. Let's see if Nicole follows the workout program. She'll be successful, but if I do it, I won't. That's a tape that goes on a lot, right? Especially in this kind of, when we're overcoming domestic violence and coming out of these types of really hard life situations. But let me explain this to you. It's the same with everything, but I'm talking about finance. What I found the hard way was it's like gravity. Think about it. If me and Nicole, I know this is crazy, but follow me. All right. If me and Nicole jump off a 10-story building, what's going to happen?
I've heard.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. We're going to splat, right? It's not going to say she's a lady and you're a country dork. None of that, right? It doesn't discriminate. So understand that these principles, whether it's wealth, whether it's life changes, whether it's health, mental, whatever, they're universal principles. It's impossible for it not to happen. If you follow, all right, if you follow truth and you implement truthful things, all right, and you go through the process, does that make sense? You give me an emoji or something if I'm making any sense. But I want you to understand that's where the power is. That's why we don't do what we know we can do. So think about it. It doesn't discriminate. And think about this too. We live in the wealthiest country on earth, folks, by far, per capita, right? More money's been created. Trillions upon trillions of wealth have been created in this country. But let me ask you a question. Feel free to answer it. Agape and Nicole, you have to answer. Okay. Put it in the chat for me. And by the way, there's enough wealth, seriously, generated. You go look it up. Don't take my word for it. For everyone to become financially independent. I'm not talking about get rich pie in the sky overnight. I'm talking about 20, 30, 40 years of work, right? If you make 50K for 40 years, what's that, $2 million?
Right.
So understand me.
Nice.
Yeah, that working overtime at Burger King for 40 years, right? But what's the percentage? What do you think the percentage of the wealthiest nation on earth? Everyone could do it. What do you think the percentage of folks who actually achieve financial freedom? And let me stop here. What is financial freedom? Let me explain this the best way I can. Wrap this around, put it on your pillow, something, right? Keep this in forefront of your mind. I work hard for money like we all do, but now I got money working for me. That's where financial freedom begins, right? That's what the path is. So I work hard for money, but is it working hard for me? So here's what financial freedom means. I wake up one day, you wake up one day, and you say, I get to do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want, with whomever I want, because money's not an issue. Does that make sense? I have enough money working for me that I could just draw off of that till the day I die because I work for it. I put the principles of finance to work for me. And now I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. That's the goal. And people say, oh my God, I'll never get there. Okay, maybe you can get halfway there. Maybe you can have a better quality of life than you do now. What if just a little bit? If that's too daunting for you, hey, what if it's just a little bit better? What if you just put $200 away in the next 3 months? Would that be, that's $200 more than a dead man, right? So define that. Just don't get intimidated. Just say, look, it's about having a better quality of life. And that's what I'm here for, right? So remember, the laws don't discriminate. Financial freedom is defined that way. What do you think the percentage is that actually achieve it?
1 to 2%.
Oh.
4%.
I don't know who said it, but it's 5, very close. 5. See, and that's why this company was founded in 1977. That's why I choose to broker through here, because they wanted to find out what's the truth? What separates the 5% from the 95%? Y'all want to know it? You want me to stop playing games and just tell you? All right.
Mindset.
very much. Number one, they had an education. And I'm going to give you a book. I won't go on and on, but they had not opinions, and they had the facts, right? Formulas. 2 plus 2 is 4, or 22 if you want to be a smart ass, right? But 2 plus 2 is 4, right? You can't change it. So they had an education. Tell me what it is, right? Because ladies, think about it. You're smart. Right? You're here, so you're definitely smart, right? So if, oh my gosh, I just squirreled. It's been a long day. What is it? Oh, you don't need to be sold things. So all you need is the information that you can make an informed decision, correct? That's what the education part. Like Angela don't need me to go over and tell her and sell her stuff. All she needs to do, it's only complicated to try to screw somebody. If you tell me the formula and give me the info, let me go play with it, I can do it. And that's what they did. They said, let's just give people the real. It's not some elusive stuff you had to be born with money in. This is concrete thing. It's math. You can do it. No, it's not magic at all. Look at who you're talking to. And I still struggle. Oh, I still overspend on Amazon and go, oh my God, I didn't even see that credit card bill. But the difference is I know better. I know how to undo it. The shit that the debt companies do to us is the same principle to get us out of it that they use to get us in it. It's compound interest. So be empowered by that. Say, hey, I can change it and do it now. So I wanted to make sure I define that because if I just come up here and start talking about concepts, nobody cares. Okay. But once now you understand, hey, this is the goal. It's a long-term journey goal. All right. So the first way is to get money working for you. I'll give you a book. I'm going to talk about some of the concepts in it at the right time, ladies. If you want to chat, and it's okay with Agape, I'll leave it up to her. I have a link. You can chat with me about this. No pressure. But the first thing is education. That's what I'm doing here. All right. I got plenty of it. Number two, game plan. Now think about how simple this is. People just sell stuff in this industry. Drives me nuts. It really does. It drives me nuts in all industries. Listen, if you get into a car, right, and you got point A where I'm at and point B where I want to go, that's a GPS, right? Now think about it. If Agape say, hey, Mike, I'm going to visit. I'm going to pass through Kentucky. I'm going to come see you. But she doesn't get the address. She don't know where the hell she is. She just runs around in her car and yells Mike out the window. Now, what's the probability she's going to find me?
You're going to hear my voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would. But she's not going to find me. So she's like, it's elusive. I'll never get there. Yes, because you need a game plan. This is where I'm at. Okay, accept that. Understand where I'm at. Here's where I want to go. And this is the GPS roadmap to get there. Does that make sense? That's what I do when folks are ready. And I don't charge for that. I do that, but you know why? Because it's the right thing to do. Now, how are you supposed to go to the doctor and he doesn't ask questions and prescribe medicine? He's supposed to find out what's going on with you, right? So any financial professional, be looking for those signs. Are they asking me about me? Are they trying to understand my life? Are they helping me uncover this? Or are they just trying to sell some stuff? Right? That's the question to ask, the qualifiers, right? And then the last, they had a coach. Ladies, chiropractors don't crack their own necks, right? For good reason. You can't see the forest from the trees. You don't think I'll coach my wife on finance. Oh, sweet Jesus, right? I want to sleep on the couch. No. So I have a coach. He comes in and says, hey, you're not doing it right. Yeah, I'm licensed. So this is just what all people, whether they're born from wealth, whether they didn't have nothing, that's how they did it. I hope y'all feel better. Y'all feel better. That's what I wanted to get away because if I threw stuff at you, you'd be like, oh, sweet baby Jesus. Now, hopefully you can play with this, think about it, meditate on it, and go, hey, you know what? I can. It's just math. We're just blowing it up bigger than it should be. All right. So the second way, and you can talk to me, I don't talk about this very often, but for a select people, yeah, it's my business through this platform. I choose to be here. So I can also take on people to work with me, part or full time. Because the second way to financial freedom is not only getting money working for you. See, if you work a job, nothing wrong with it. Corporate, if you like it, good. But it usually takes 30, 40 years to get there. How do I compress time frames? Ladies, whether it's, anyway, here's the secret. Build a business that operates independently of you being there. So now I have money working for me, but I'm dumping gas. I'm accelerating it because I have a business that could pay me more than most jobs are going to pay you. They're not going to pay you what you're worth, right? You could pay yourself through a business, and then you can accelerate that time frame. And the people who achieve freedom the fastest, and the people you probably admire the most, right? Brene Brown, people who just start doing stuff and helping people. That's what they did. They got money working for them, and then they had a business that operated without them being there one day. So that's the two concepts. So it doesn't matter where you're at, but at least get money working for you. And what happens is, instead of doing it for 40 years to be financially independent, guess what? You can do it in 5 to 10. And if you're around my age in your 40s, you probably do have to build a business, but hey, you can. So either way, have the talk, but I wanted you to know that's just the truth, right? So be empowered by that. All right, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go there. How much time do I got? I'll probably just use 20 minutes then. It's my trademark.
No, you were less than 15. Honestly, you're just about 15.
Sweet. Oh, we're on par now. All right.
Yeah, you stopped yourself. Wow.
You
No, but
got it.
this makes a lot of sense. Thank you. It's just easy stuff that nobody ever wants to talk about, right?
No, and I get it. Yeah, again, yes, you've been through a lot. If you're a victim of domestic, oh my God, I've seen it. All right. And I've been through people who treat me like crap. And trust me, it ain't no fun. But you don't have to choose that. And it's that corny ass victor over victim. It is true though. But you have to be willing to go through just what you're doing. And if you're here, you're probably doing that. So it's my honor to help. So let me put this out. All
Thank
right.
you, Mike. Absolutely. I just want to piggyback on that because as a survivor of domestic violence and the need is there, the mindset of survival takes over. If there is a way where we can wedge this mindset into that state of mind or during that state of mind, I think that we can have a quicker turnaround for the community that we're serving. So this is great.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well said. Absolutely. Spot on. See, truth, right? That's the absolute truth right there. You're redefining. All things are new. Remember that corny caterpillar story, Angela? Remember that with the transformer to a butterfly? Oh my goodness. I was potty trained by God 16 million times. No, this whole 18 months been just an amazing journey. See, without going on a tangent, ladies, but I've been through this recently. So I get the mindset. When I used to get a stupid email, my mindset was, how could that person send that stupid email? Because of that nasty, painful inner growth journey. Now the mindset is, what am I doing to make that man think that stupid email is okay? That's why you're here. You're
Right.
probably right. I'm in charge. So if I'm training, I gotta set boundaries and that happens internally first, in my opinion and experience, then it happens externally. So that's where the battle is. Hey, I'm not going to allow people to treat me like this. What the hell does that look like? Right? Now you got to go through the work. Oh, I'm going to save money. And you don't. How are you going to handle that? I'm just going to do it now. I'm not going to look back. I'm not going to look forward. I'm going to look right now. And that's the mindset. So thank you, Agape, because you're dead on. All right. So I want to address this because this is the part. We wanted everybody to be honest, but I'm going to give you the truth. Okay. This is the God's honest truth. There's 4 types of insurance, because when people come in the industry, they usually talk about life insurance, right? Because most people are selling life insurance and just life insurance. So it's really important that you understand it. And then you get somebody who is playing ball according to the principles and truth, right? Because right now, trust is everything, right? That's a big deal right now. And so we got to make sure that we filter and say, okay, we know this is true. So if somebody comes out and says otherwise, we got to do our research and make good decisions. Okay. So when it comes to insurance, real simple, right? There's none, right? There's group, term, and whole life. But let me stop here. I'm not going to get into the semantics yet. That's later. I want you all to get this for yourself. So first of all, why do we have insurance? Think about all the insurance out there: home, health, life, and car, primary 4, right? Why do we have it? What's the purpose of it? Any insurance. We'll pick on Nicole and them because they know me. Do you know? It's okay if you don't.
Is it the whole life? Is that what you're asking about?
No. Home insurance, house insurance, car insurance, health insurance, any insurance itself. What's the point of it? Why we got it? What's the point?
When things are accidents.
Yeah, when stuff happens.
Yeah.
Just in case. Just in case.
Oopsies.
Well, let me ask y'all a question. Think hard on this. How many of those do you want to use?
No.
Home, health, life, and car. How many do you want to use?
None.
I
Sure.
want them all because that's where my money is going. How do I get it back?
Well, think about it. Let me ask you this way. All right, Sindel, do you want to wreck the car? No. You want to get sick? No. You want to burn the house down? You want to die? No, you're right, Agape. You only use it if you get it in life insurance. Hell, you don't even get it. It goes to other people because you're dead.
And then it's more expensive when you do use it.
Yeah, and so think about it. That's the dichotomy, ladies. Think about this. That's the dilemma. Think about it. I have to have it because if you ever had to use insurance, thank God you had it, man. One thing could have wiped you out financially. But I try every day of my life not to use it. Y'all getting it now? Have to have it, try every day not to use it. That's a dichotomy. That's a dilemma. Somebody gonna say something?
No, I was saying pay for it no matter what.
But we have to have it just in case. But we don't want to use it. And so in a dichotomy, in a dilemma, wisdom has to step in. And ladies, here's the simple truth. What's wisdom say? If I have to have something I never want to use, get the most value and protection, right? For the least amount of cost, get as much as I can get for as little as I can pay. Does that make sense? Y'all agree with that?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, here's what aggravates me. Here's what the arrogance of a lot of the insurance companies and industry has been for the last 150 years. They've known that. They've known that. And really up until the 70s, until A.L. Williams and then Primer, you know what they did? They opposite. Let's sell the most we can sell for a little amount we can get away with. That's what I found. That's what I found to be true. And not everybody, but a lot of it. So understand that, right? I want to get as much as I can get, as little as I can pay. This is general, right? Things will be different when you do a game plan. You need to do a game plan because this is, how do I apply this? It's like reading the Ramsey book. Dave Ramsey's stuff is spot on. And if you read his old stuff, but he's not sitting down at your kitchen table helping you in your personal life figure this out tailor-made. That's why we coach. That's why we do game plans. That's why I sit down with people. So understand the principle here. We talked about it, but what I really want to get to is this. When it comes to life insurance, understand this is how it makes sense, and it's usually the way to go for most people. There are exceptions, but for the masses of people, think about it. It's called the theory of decreasing responsibility. All right. And I'm not going to harp on it, but I want you to be armed with this. Okay. The knowledge, the application of knowledge is power, right? Wisdom. So think about this, right? You're starting over. Maybe you have kids. You're wherever in life. You have a mortgage. You have high debt. You don't have a lot of money, though, right? So wherever you're at, you got all these things, but you don't have a lot of money. So that's when income protection. It should be called death insurance instead of life insurance, right? Because you only use it if you die and it goes to other people. But it's real simple. Take my wife and I, right? She decides to work. We live life together, right? We're good. If I die before I'm financially free, independent, right? If I die before I have all that money we can just live off of until we die, then I need insurance because if I die, who's paying the bills? That income is probably half or 80% less than it was, right? So the people that are going to take care of the household need the money. You can't replace the person that passed away, but you don't, trust me, you don't want to see people grieving over the loss of a loved one and then have financial issues to worry about. So someone else is transferring that risk. If I die, we can't get paid. That's the transference of risk. That's why we have insurance. That makes sense? But follow me here. Follow me. What if we don't die? What if we live to be on 2 jars of Smuckers, right? 100 years old. Now we have another problem. We might die too soon. That's insurance. But what if we live too long? What's that mean? We're 80 years old, right? And we had a bunch of money and we ran out of it. Oh God, right? So we don't have kids. We don't think about this. Let's say $2 million was your FIN, your financial independence number. Let's say that's the ballpark number you need to be financially independent. So you hit 2 million, right? Think about this, ladies, everybody. Let's put it this way. If you never was going to drive again, you didn't have a driver's license, you were never going to drive, would you keep your car insurance?
No,
Why not?
because I'm not driving the car.
Okay.
I might pay for it.
I don't have a lot.
Sell it.
So think about it. If you had your FIN and you were financially independent, right? Hypothetically, just looking in the future, and you had nothing to do, you didn't have to work, everything was done, then why the heck do you need life insurance?
You don't. You outlived the need.
There you go. So this is the concept that we operate from for the 99% of the people out there, with some exception, is, hey, use it for, let's say it takes you 20 years, 30 years to be financially independent. Guess how long you may probably need insurance for? What would make most sense? How many years? If you
Those 20 to 30 years.
think what? Because I need that buffer zone until I have my own. I'm self-insured. If I don't have to work and I don't need anything, everything's paid off, then I'm self-insured. I can just pay for stuff. I mean, that doesn't mean you need to get rid of it all. There's other things involved, but that's the concept. So I don't need it. I may keep it, maybe an estate planning tool, right? There's other things, but I don't need it. Does that make sense? So the goal here is to build up your net worth. Right? And we talk about net worth. Bill Gates don't talk about what he makes an hour. He talks about his net worth, right? So again, mindset. So we have to grow this. And that's the key. Insurance is important, but think about it. Let's say we're buying $1,000 worth of insurance, but we can get the same type of coverage, I don't know, let's say 300, hypothetically. Then what do we do with the other 700? Yeah. See, people think about this. They say, I got debt. I can't do it. Yeah, but once we pay that debt off faster using the principles, what do we do with the other 1,000? So there is money. What I found is people say, I ain't got no money. If you have a job and you work, you probably do. The question is, how much am I wasting? How long has it been since I shopped for car insurance? How do I do it? I got a broker service. They're going to do two things. They're going to say, hey, stay where you're at. You can't do better because every year this changes. They change the tables, the actuaries, and all this stuff. Or, hey, you're paying more than you should for no reason. This company might charge you X, but this one likes you this year. And now you can pay less for the same coverage. Does that make sense? So it's not you. What is their job? Their job is to sell as much as they can get away with. Your job is to shop around so you get the right value at the least amount of cost. This is the stuff I help people with, right? So does that make sense? I don't want to beat the dead horse. I want to go on to the other two, but I want y'all to be armed because that's when people start talking about investments and they start muddying the waters. It can get real convoluted. And then you go 5 years from now and go, shit, if I knew better, I would have done this stuff. So that's why I'm talking about it. That's why I do the game plan for free, because now it's math. I ain't just making stuff up. Like I'm showing you how to get there, right? You can decide, right? So anyways, that makes sense? Y'all good?
Yeah.
So if someone is talking with you, not to you, and they're walking you through the concept, you're asking questions, you're bringing out the Redneck's book and saying, what about this? And is that, then go find another of the 16,000 experts in the area until you get somebody who will, all right? Or you call me. And if I can't help you, I'll find somebody trustworthy that probably could, or find you someone, all right? So let me see. Last thing, debt. I'm going to knock you out with this one real quick. Because this is oh, man. Listen, ladies, I got into debt. I got out of debt. Then I got back into it not too long ago. And then now I'm getting out of it. Oh, open and honest. I'm not sweating. Why? Because I understand the principles. And I'm willing to do the work. Oh, so hang on a second. I messed up. Before debt, I want to show you, because debt is the same principle that can build wealth. Like I said earlier, that can put you in debt, right? You owe someone, but it's the same concept. Have you all ever heard of the rule of 72? This will change your daggone life.
No, but it's a good year.
Yeah.
Y'all are silly. This is my crowd here. Oh my goodness. I'm being behaved and y'all are acting funny. That never happens in a few.
Yes,
Yes.
I've
Okay.
heard of Rule 72. I was actually going to talk about it if you did not bring it up.
Sweet. Okay, good. I'm gonna steal your thunder. She's made of thunder, so she's fine. All right. So, ladies, and I had to get this right because people like to challenge me now instead of create stuff. So it was Einstein said about compound interest that it's the most powerful force in the universe. And I thought that was very telling. So the rule of 72 is an expression of that compound interest. Okay, I understand that. So it's real simple. It says if I'm giving an interest rate, right? So if somebody says, I'm going to give you an interest rate. And why is this important? Let me tell you. Check out, if you have a savings account, or if you go check out the local bank or anywhere for savings account, do you all know what the average bank savings account is paying? On average, Google it. Last time I checked, it was 0.014%.
You don't even get a toaster anymore.
No, you don't even get a sticker.
No Christmas presents, nothing. HSBC shut that out too. That was the one that paid the highest.
Yeah, but again, that's another chapter. I can go on and on about best interest, like who's people operating in the interest of. It's not evil, it's just the truth, right? But we'll get there later. Rule of 72 is simple. And I want y'all to do the math with this on whatever interest rate you find out there. All right, tell me how long that you have to live to get the reward, okay? How many years do you have to live for your money to double? So if you take 72 and divide it into 3, that's 24. So if you put $10,000 and assuming that it was just a regular 3%, it's going to take 24 years for that money to double. So 10 will become 20. Take another 24 years on the left side of this chart to turn into 40. Does that make sense? So the question is, what if I got just 3 more? And before I can hear y'all. You think I've done this before? 6 and 12%. Oh my God. Where am I going to get that? Who does that? All right, you can go to the bank. You might be able to find it online. I haven't checked recently. And you can go to the annual financial report, ask them for it. They have to give it to you by law. And when they take our money and pay us the 0.014%, The question is, what the hell are they doing with it? Y'all know what that? They invest it. Because that's what our parents did. It's what our grandparents did. You make money, you take it to the bank. But nobody stopped to think, what the hell are they doing with our money? So they're taking our money and they're investing it into the global economy, right? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all the things. So they're making what? Averages of 9, 12, 20. Go look at it. 20%. They take your money, invest it in the market, and then you get 1% or less. That's called middleman.
Yeah.
So wealthy people said, oh, no, I'm going to go. If we, the people, knew what the banks and insurance companies were doing with our money, what the hell would happen if we went there ourselves and bypassed the middleman? Think about that. So that's the principle. It's out there. You just don't have access to it because they're all chasing the big fish usually. And then they want to sell us stuff. So that's what I mean. Make it accessible. They don't do that to wealthy people. It's not in my experience because they know better. So think like a wealthy person, and it'll start happening slowly but surely. You'll get in better position. All right. So double on the interest rate. I just dispelled the fact that you can. Okay, it's out there. Right. So just getting out there. 72 divided by 6 is 12. Because when I first saw this, I suck at math, folks. I said, if I double the interest rate, then that 40 will be 80. No, see, that's compounded. It's 160. And didn't just double 6 to 12. 12%. Yeah, of course, it fluctuates and all, but listen, just use the easy math. 12. All right. And read this book. It'll go into this. All right. $2.5 million. Same $10,000. So if Nicole went at 3%, I went at 12%. Same money. See, now you understand the truth behind why people aren't becoming financially independent. That's why 5 are doing it. 5% are doing that because they know it and they're doing it. Does that make sense, folks?
Yes.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Could you imagine my little country head 15 years ago learning this? Oh my God. And that's why
That's why you wear the hat.
that's why I talk about it. Because I'm not a stupid man. If they would have taught this stuff in school instead of all the nonsense, I could be a powerful force. But hey, better late than never. All right. So I'm going to send all this to you all. I've got a little website link, whatever Agape is comfortable with. We'll make sure you get it. No problem. But let me go to the last thing. So that's how you get money working for you. That's the general way of understanding it. Then all these other concepts will make much better sense. You'll get it more excited. So now let's talk about how they use it against you. And that is page 10. And I'm not going to go on and on. All right, we understand revolving debt, right? And oh my gosh, right? It's just you're paying the minimum on the interest. Right? The interest is what, 29%? It could get crazy. But here's the hope. And if you ever read a Dave Ramsey book and a Susie, they do this, and I'm glad they're teaching this. But they usually teach in a way that they have to teach everyone because you're reading the book, right? So they have to make this uniform. And usually they talk about the snowball, right? And I'm going to get into it. The reason I sit down and do this with clients is because I have a computer. I have a program that does, if you do anything different than the way this program tells you, it's going to cost you time and money. So instead of saying just take the minimum debt and then apply it, it's going to tell you exactly what to do. It's going to save a lot more than just general knowledge. Okay. So it's really simple. When we free up, like car insurance, that's a big one. I don't have a lot of money. Okay. If you're spending more than $50, maybe you free up $50, $80 a month. Now, what do we do with it? Traditionally, I tell people to get your emergency fund built. And think about that. Everybody wants to pay off debt. Be careful. Be very careful and seek guidance on this. But the general rule is this. If I pay off all my debt and I have no money in the bank or in anywhere, then what's going to happen is it if or when the roof leaks, if or when the kids get sick. It's when, not if. And if I don't have money on hand to pay for it, guess what I got to do? I got to go back into debt. That's the cycle. So before you start implementing this, that's why you need a game plan, because you need to have a cushion of your own money to stop the bleeding of needing credit. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
Don't go crazy. Oh, I'm going to take my $80 and start doing this. Slow down, get a game plan, because usually more times than not, you need to put a little nest egg up there so you can stop the debt bleeding. Now the horse is before the cart. Now we got the power. Does that make sense? Now we're in charge. They're not playing. Nobody's playing us. We're playing the game now to win, right? Because now we know the rules to the game. Now we're not just running around hoping things happen. So what it says is we take whatever, maybe it's just paying it normal, but instead of taking that $220 here on that first card, what if we put it to the next one? So now instead of making that minimum payment, now we're making this. So we take that 220, we paid it off, and we add it to the second debt, the 353, and now we're putting $573. See, I just porky pigged that out there. Y'all get the concept, right? All right. So what we have is this plus this. So what do we do when this gets paid off much faster? Oh, y'all see that now? Now, instead of putting 551, woo, now we're doing it. Now we're putting in 1124. My gosh. So what happens if you just pay the minimums and live life and pay the 30-year mortgage in this example? It's going to take you 24 years. It's going to cost you $212,000 to borrow all that money, and you pay this amount. This technique exercised the most optimum way 9 years sooner. Or I'm sorry, 9 years, 15 years sooner. Now you're off in 9. You didn't pay $130,000. You got to keep that in your pocket. All right. You're out faster. You got more money, and you paid less money out, obviously. And guess what? Now think about that. Mike, that might take 8 years. That might take 10 years. Fair enough. But when you're 50, wouldn't you rather have no debt? And think about, what are you going to do with this $2,720?
Take a vacation.
Damn it. That's why. Well, I can't send my kid to college. You know why? Because no one's teaching this and no one's helping people get there. That's why we exist. And that's why I take the time to do these things. I don't care about selling you stuff. In fact, I usually exclusively only sell term insurance because you don't make that much money on it, to be honest with you. But it's what people need. And I'm not here to sell insurance or investments. I'm here to coach people from where you're at to where you want to go, and to navigate all that craziness right now. And I'm going to tell you something. People aren't calling me freaked out right now. None of my clients calling me, oh my God. Yeah, sometimes I have to remind them, right? Stop watching that nonsense on the news, right? But nobody freaking out. You know why? Because we have wisdom. There's going to be good and bad times. It's going to happen. The market's going to be up. It's going to be down. Get over it, okay? We plan for both. I'm not unnerved by it. In fact, sneak peek, read the book, ladies. I'm gonna mess with you here. Go read, because in a down market, I get excited. Now, I want y'all to read the investment stick, because y'all will find it in there. That's how I know you're gonna read it. Right? But with the 5%, they respond totally different to climates like this. Understand it. Totally different. Right? Because everybody's, oh man, I need to sell stuff. Y'all read this. Read the investment stick. All right. So Agape, I don't know how we are on time. If anybody's got a question or two, I'm open to it. If that's how you want to play it, tell me how you want me to get out my info. I have one for kids too. How money works for kids. So if you like that one, you can have that. And also, if anybody is wanting to meet, you're at that place where you're serious. You may not be ready to execute a plan yet. It's fine. Right. But you're serious. You're like, hey, I want to get this done. I'll do this because I care about people. All right. And also, by the way, I do the same thing for school teachers that wealthy people do for wealthy people, right? And by the way, it's funny. Where do you think I get my high net worth clients at? A lot of them. I help the school teacher. She tells her uncle, he owns a business. He's got a fancy, stuff. And it must be a scam. And then I talk to him and he becomes my client. Shh, don't tell nobody. Here's my secret. Because that's it. When I heard the old saying, the truth will set you free, dadgum, it's true. Agape, I'm open. You take the show, ladies. You got this. All right. That's the one. The only thing you can't control, you have is time. So it's going, whether you spend it wisely or not. I remind myself that every day. But that's also the good news. You still have time. You ain't done. Stop telling yourself that. Take advantage of the time now. Do your best now. All right. It's only $100. That's a win. Stop minimizing it. All right. So anyway, read the book, reach out, Agape, shut me up.
Are you going to share this in the chat, Mike, or do you want us to email people?
Yeah. So again, I should have asked this before. I have a calendar link. If people want to set with me, if you're comfortable with that, I also can put the links in here right now for you. Yeah. And you can read that book. And just so you know, if we talk, we're not talking nerd. What we're going to talk about is you. What do you want freedom from? What do you want freedom to? What's stopping you? We got to work through. It's like Dr. Phil over here in the beginning. Seriously, we got to work through that. And then if it's the right time, then we put together, but you ain't got to know none of that. I want to know what is going on with you. because we all know not to use credit card debt, yet we do it any damn way. So now we got to get through that. Once we go, that's the problem. Now you're ready to go. Now you're coachable. Now you go do the math. If you think I'm full of stuff, go test it. Go ask someone else. This is about you. So it's not time to be like, oh, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. It's time to take charge. If somebody's working your best interest.
Yeah, that's right. And I really appreciate you taking the time to show how this works, because I do believe that a lot of the population, us, majority of us, are not taught the way that money is used. The whole way that you express it, it's about that matrix that we get into. Give me your money so we can invest your money and not give you the money back. It's all of this take and, like you said, reduce the middleman and be that one that's in charge. And it makes total sense, because we're looking at being in a financial struggle, a deep hole, to that independence and that freedom. And I appreciate the whole concept and showing how you can transition from that one side of the spectrum on out to the other. That is so beautiful. And as a survivor and in that survivor mindset, I would like to say that while you are in that space of survival mindset and getting to that place where Mike is talking about as it relates to reducing that compounding interest and putting that money back into your pocket and having that freedom, what to do in between that while you can is pay whatever you have that is compounding that interest every 2 weeks instead of once a month. Why? Because once you make that payment, then the compounding interest starts from that moment again. So if you have a car note and it's like a 5-year loan, if you make those payments every 2 weeks instead of once a month, you will pay that car note off earlier, sooner. Same thing with a mortgage. So until you can get to that place that Mike's talking about, that's what you can do to get there faster and still save yourself some money while you're trying to get yourself to that independence.
Yeah. And real quick, well said. Amen. All of it. You have two issues. Accessibility is one of them. So I operate like Amazon. I'm the shopping cart of it. I represent many of the top companies. So they pay me the same. Money never exchanges hands between me and the client. It's just like if you called up a company, they came down, they get paid. I get paid the same. Different. But I represent these companies. Does that make sense? When you go to Amazon, Amazon doesn't have a product. They connect buyers and sellers. That's what I do. I'm the fiduciary. I'm like, hey, this is what you need. So we're going here because you need that. But it's either I didn't know it existed, and oftentimes you can't even get in. Some of these minimum investments are really hard. Like SMAs, separately managed accounts, could be like $250,000 minimum. But so how do we build that? So that's why we designed it this way, right? Because, I only have $25. Let's grow that a little oak tree, right? Do wisdom. And then guess what? A couple of years down the road, it could be 5-10, right? And then we can graduate. So that's the problem. Even if you knew about this stuff, where am I supposed to get in? You have to have money to get into it. That's why we created this movement decades ago. That's why I'm a part of this. Ask the good questions. I'm here if you need me. And I put the books in. That's the How Money Works. And then the second one is for the kids and the teenagers as well. They like it. Like my little girl's 12, almost 13. So it's not too kiddish or anything. It speaks on their level, but that's it. Take action. Take action and be fearless. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. And if there's anything that collectively we would like to talk about as it relates to money mindset and confidence building, because next up is Angela, and she has a lot to share too. I think our minds are going to continuously be provoked here as we talk about finances and sharing our stories. But like I said, before we move on to that, is there anything that we would like to speak on collectively about that money mindset and confidence building?
I think I would say this is great because it's thought provoking, and I think it'll take a second sometimes to sink in. And I know it'll wake me up at 2 a.m, right? But the other thing is that what does this say to us instead of the frustration of, hey, I should have been told about this a long time ago. I should have heard this before. So why did anybody tell? Well, we can sit there forever and conspiring that the world against us in a sense. But how do we get to that place where we're like, oh, okay, the opportunity is here for us. And then when we're talking about abundance and mindset, here is such a great, it's a small group, but it's a great opportunity to open up and say, here's the people with us that are helping us manifest the abundance, and we're going to allow that to open the door. I know for me, that's always been the thing. And for many of the people that I work with is to say, here we go. We can open up this door to that. Now I've got something new. And Mike was talking about, you talked about that earlier when you were saying, hey, I could be mad about it, or I can be glad about it. Hey, now I know. Now I've got a tip. I've got a trick. I've got a tool that I could take away from here. And I think that's so important. That's why we talked about putting these types of workshops together, is really getting into the community and changing the mindset together. Because if we only change one person or one of us changes, we all want to get together maybe in a year or maybe in another 3 months and say, hey, this is how I've changed. I'd love to see that again when we do our next workshop, whatever type of workshop, have these people come back and say, hey, I implemented this one step and this is how I saw my growth. And that's that attitude of gratitude and sharing it and moving it forward, but actually doing it, harvesting and planting the seeds.
Right. Go ahead, Mike. I saw you unmute.
No, it's actually inappropriate. I want to know who did Sindul's avatar here. Check your WhatsApp later. I want you. It took me a while when I came on the call. I was like, that's Sindel. I was like, because I was looking for her. The hat threw me off. Go ahead. You wore that hat for me, didn't you? Thank you.
Exactly. We give the choice for people to come in here in their avatars instead of going off camera. At least there's something to relate with. It's a character. It's fun. But the other thing is that you get to come as you are and come where you are. So we can meet you at the place that you're at and be here and be giving. And sometimes it's easier to listen and digest and not have to be on camera with what you're thinking or doing. So it gives us that freedom of space and boundaries, and to just say, I can be me in my moment and get what I need to get. We're not going to hold you accountable if you're not writing anything down. And of course, if you're watching the replay, we'd love to get some comments from you in emails and find out more of how you've implemented any of this. Reach out to us in these emails and say, hey, I put this together, or comments, and we're going to make this public a little bit later, at least some of the highlights from the talks, and to share that what you did, because we're doing this together and it's a momentous movement, small and mighty here, but in 3 months, 6 months, and a year, if we put that 24 and that 72 and put all that money together and look at those principles, then where are we at? Where can we invest? And that's not just getting richer by the day and accepting abundance. We're getting out of the victim and their survivor mode. Once you're out of those modes, because when you're surviving, I've been a survivor, and I thought that's what all I need to do. A survivor in life, survivor of being homeless, survivor of being broke, survivor of bankruptcy, survivor of just bad relationships and bad decisions. When you get past that, now you're the mentor. Now we can go out and harvest and share what Mike has taught us and what Angela will be sharing with us, and move that needle just a little bit more and grow that 4%, several people at a time instead of one, because that's the harshest part. There's millions of us. So we have a lot of quick work to do right now. Does anybody have any questions for Mike or anybody right now, or any suggestion, any comments? And then we'll move forward. And Agape, if you have anything too that you want to say or do, because I definitely I'm going to put your handout in here that you have. If there's anything else you want to discuss before about this, more of a journaling exercise or financial goals or any affirmations. Besides, woke doesn't mean broke. That's what I say all the time in these great affirmations.
And I just wanted to really just extend and express my profuse gratitude for everybody being here today and for everybody sharing their area of expertise. We go from what the whole intention today is to really show that you may be at a certain place, but there is light and independence and freedom on the other side. And we're showing from that, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, that survival mindset to independence, and we're showing how to do that, and we're expressing the transformation and being very clear that it's not an overnight thing. It does take time, but to have the confidence and the strength to do it, we're all here to support each other. And just to follow up on what Mike said, he did drop his calendar link in the chat if you wanted to meet with him. And Nicole, thank you for saying that you'll drop that journal in there. That journal is very simple. It's broken down to the most simplest possible as it relates to identifying what you're bringing in and what you're putting out. There's a lot of things that we forget that we can scale when we're in situations just to make ends meet and get ahead. Sometimes you got to take a few steps backwards to take strides forward, making some sacrifices now for the benefit forward. It may be hard, but it's really empowering. And I did mention about that 72 rule. Mike, I thought we were going to be talking about the same thing, but I realized as you continued, we were not. I will wait until after Angela's presentation to talk about what the 72 rule is, because that is an actual provision under the IRS. So thank you, everybody, and I will turn it over to Angela.
Good afternoon, everyone. Such a pleasure and honor to be here today. I'm really excited to, hello, Mike, part of this journey and just introduce something that's been very prevalent in my life, and being a domestic violence survivor and coming out of the trenches of being financially pretty much independent, even throughout my relationships, to being financially dependent, and just going through that, and what transpired to help me pull myself up out of that, and to become in the space that I am now, to be able to share with you all. My name is Angela Skipper. I am the founder of the Concrete Rose Experience, which is a life transformation coaching company. I'm also the founder of Third Generation Wealth, which is a financial education company. I am a financial educator, and I'm also a day trader. And so I was able to bring myself out of the trenches of financial abuse through trading. I've been in the markets since 2017, and just has been a really long and strenuous and emotional journey in learning the skill and mastering it and using it to free myself and be able to sustain independently regardless of what circumstances are happening. And so I'm just really excited to share that with you all. And the passion to start Concrete Rose Experience came from being in, at the time, just breaking out of a serious emotional and financially abusive situation and becoming pretty much homeless, and having to turn around, and the Concrete Rose Experience was born from that. And then from there, as I begin to pull myself up and become accountable to myself for my own deliverance and my own independence in sustaining my financial position, I created the Third Gen Wealth, to where becoming a financial educator and mentoring others to become financially free. And because I am a domestic violence survivor, I believe my calling is to equip and empower other survivors to know that there is hope, and that you can come out, and you can come out on top, and you can come out from a survivor to an investor. And I have a short presentation that I usually send, or I usually share with groups about the program. And it's just a few minutes, not very long, maybe about 10 slides. And then I can make myself available to get into specifics or any questions that you guys may have. So I'm not sure if do I have the capability to share my screen?
You should.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, so give me a few seconds here. Here we go. And here. And can you guys see that? Can you guys see the?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. It's here. And it says here. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Angela, I want to thank you. Because no, 100% of the time, this happens to me. And I just got, hey, oh, yeah.
There you are. Beautiful.
Well, I'm trying to find it. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Oh, we see you. We got it now.
Yeah, see, she's there. Look at that. That's a great picture.
That's good. Thank you. I don't know what's going on with mine.
You should do the play is not working, you said? Is the play
No,
not working on
okay,
that?
here we go. Here we go.
Welcome.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
We're so excited that you are here to this amazing session. My name is Angela Chris Skipper, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence. But more than that, I am a mother of teen, investor, and mentor, and living proof that you can heal, break the cycle of financial abuse, and build generational wealth. Whether you are a survivor, an advocate, or someone seeking to understand, this space is for truth, healing, and transformation. My journey from surviving to rebuilding. Entrapment. I survived a relationship where the hands that I trusted to love me abused me, controlled my finances and freedom. Escape. I didn't just walk away. I crawled with my 5 children, financially broken, but spiritually undefeated. Rebuilding. Trading became my tool for rebuilding. One trade at a time, I found my rhythm and my voice. Financial abuse is still abuse. Some of the control tactics. Where are you going? How much did you spend? You don't need to work. These aren't just red flags. They are chains. Hidden forms of financial abuse. Financial abuse is one of the least recognized forms of control. It restricts access to money and sabotages ways to make your own income. The trap. It keeps survivors trapped because leaving without money feels like stepping into the unknown with no parachute. It is very scary and creates a feeling of hopelessness. When healing meets readiness, clarity, the moment when survival turns into strategy. Questioning. I ask myself, what could my life look like if I had financial control? What would financial freedom look like for me? Planning. How do I start the process of healing, pursuing breaking the financial abuse cycle, and still care for my family? Exploration. What skill could help me earn without needing permission? From recipient to resource. The beginning. A survivor accesses resources that will teach financial literacy through the stock market, learns the psychology behind trading, understand how mindset shifting is crucial to becoming financially free. The next step, building. A survivor learns the skill set of trading, eventually learning how to trade from a phone and learning these skills at their own pace and beyond. Eventually, a survivor builds not just security, but a lasting legacy. They become a mentor and provide the same opportunity to survivors after them. I want to share our Survivor to Investor program and its components. A Master Trader Certificate of Completion is provided to the Survivor Collective. This is a program focused on financial literacy via the stock market, providing education and mentorship. Students complete the program with a trading accuracy of at least 90%. This is a 6-month program. So entrepreneurship. After completion of the program, you could create a business for others to learn stock market education and trading psychology. Health-centered coaching. Our mentors help with both technical skills and emotional healing through life coaching. Your path to financial freedom. To recap, your path to breaking the cycle of financial abuse starts here. The first step, learning and healing. Next is stabilizing, creating safety and security. The next step is growing, expanding your skills and investments through the program. And then thriving, building wealth and mentoring others. Are you ready? Join us. Visit our website at concreteroseexperience.com. Build your empire. We're not just building shelters. We're building empires for survivors. Or join the team. If you are a founder, leader, mentor, or a survivor that's ready to create impact, use the link shown to request a personal consultation. Spots are limited.
I'd like to take this moment to thank Nicole, Agape, and CDE for this opportunity to share what I believe to be a life-changing program, breaking the cycle of financial abuse and creating freedom and legacy for survivors and their families. That's it. I think we're out. Are we there? Did I go out?
You did. You're ready. You're up. You did well. Thank you. That is awesome.
Okay, I can't see you guys. Okay, there you are. I was like, I can't find you guys. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Wow, what a journey. What a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but it
Oh, you froze. Let's give her a second. Come on back if she can. Oh, does she? Okay. I think she had to leave. Maybe she'll come right back and we'll be okay. I think we did. I just shared while we're doing this. I think she has something to share. And I know you shared another PDF. It looks like Agape. And I did share the GSD journal. So get stuff done journal. So you can just look at that. And it's just something simple that you can print out and just play with, something fun and interesting.
I did also want to mention that those that have participated and registered with today's workshop, I have a free copy of my ebook, First Time Investor. I will send over to Agape, and maybe we can send those out to everyone that has participated.
Oh, that would be awesome, Agape. I could get that all sent out for you. I need help with that. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. Yes. Put some pen to paper and write our hearts out and spell something wonderful with our lives and get some abundance in there.
Yeah, definitely. Angela, can I probe you and ask like questions?
absolutely. Yeah, ask away.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for sharing how deep the situation was. And I just want to acknowledge and really commend you for the strength and tenacity that it takes. And it just goes to show that as a provider, as a parent, as a survivor, you have to figure it out. And it's just a matter of what is available and accessible in order to figure it out. And just thankfully that this was an option for you. And I want to ask, how long did it take? What type of influence did it have upon you? And how long did it take for you to get to that space where you knew that this is what was setting you free?
What did it was being homeless and living from couch to couch. And my youngest daughter, and I won't go too deep into it, but my youngest daughter was living in Italy, and she, now with her now husband, relocated to Hawaii. And he was deployed 6 months out of the year consecutively. So one day I got a phone call. Yeah, we're coming to Hawaii and the States. And I would love it if you came to be there with my daughter while I'm deployed. And so that was my saving grace. You're homeless, you're a survivor, you're going through, and God sees fit to push you in Hawaii. And so that was my first sign. And so my second sign was I was online looking for work. I was older, so I was like in my 50s. And so the job market is, of course, the older you get, the more scarce those opportunities become for you. I'm looking online and I came across two young ladies actually, that were teaching women of color actually, to trade in the stock market through Forex. And so it was a minimal investment because I didn't have any money. I was still looking for work, but it was a minimal investment, but it was a sacrifice I felt I needed to make, because if I can make my own money, then my problems are solved, right? So I'm like, okay, that was the light bulb moment for me. And I took that course. It was a 9-month course, and we had to complete 10,000 trades in 9 months, and for our training in order to graduate. And so just to see, and then I think that first year, I think I might have made $25,000 maybe in trading. And so that was the aha moment, right? And so it's okay, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because it's not the skill. The skill is 2% of the actual activity. The rest of it is everything else. It's your mindset. It's your unhealed trauma. It's all this other stuff, the distractions, the things of that nature. And so the combination with and taking the training and then getting myself plugged into other courses, evaluating, analyzing stocks, creating earnings reports, things of that nature, and just really just developing that muscle to be able to generate income for myself, regardless of what the environment I'm around, whatever I'm doing, I can survive. That was the thing for me. So I hope that I answered that without rambling on.
Oh no, I felt it. Not only did I hear it, I felt it. I know all too well what that feels like. And yes, it's like I'm almost getting choked up because it's what I spoke about earlier. So many of us as survivors have experienced a form of homelessness. It is true. And it's very unfortunate that sometimes it takes that extreme situation to be able to just eliminate all distractions and everything else and just focus on this one thing, because we have to give all of our energy and believe and know in ourselves that we are going to make this happen. And we latch on to what we see that is working. And then once we see that it's working, yes, we build that as we build ourselves. And it's this simultaneous growth. And that's what leads to that confidence and that independence. So I felt it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Wow. Does anybody else have any questions or comments or things that they would like to share?
Yeah, Angela, if you want to chat afterwards, I think we might be some way. I don't know how, but maybe it'll help a lot of people together.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, you two would be a powerhouse. Hey, great connection there.
Yeah. Okay. I
Sure.
revisit that 72 that I was talking about earlier. I am going to skip the painting the picture because I think we did enough of that. And it's not hypothetical. These things are real. So I do want to talk about what's called a domestic abuse waiver. It's a little known but powerful IRS hardship exception that allows victims of domestic violence to access retirement or insurance funds without the usual 10% early withdrawal penalty. Now, let me break this down a little bit. What is the domestic violence or abuse waiver? It's a provision under IRS Section 72 T2F. I am going to put that in the chat for you or anyone you may know, okay, that allows penalty-free early withdrawals from certain qualified plans if the policyholder is a documented survivor of domestic abuse. That means someone can tap into the resources they've already built to seek housing, to pay legal fees, to help be relocated, and to reclaim their independence without being penalized for needing to survive. I do have a licensed insurance agent that knows a lot about this, and they are actually appointed to help support filling out this waiver. So if you or anybody that you know may need help with this, please reach out and I will be more than happy to make that connection.
I just shared that for you.
Thank you so much. Oh, you keep putting the drive in there. We don't have, so we have to drop the actual, because it's not an open to the public.
Okay. So do you have it downloaded?
Yeah, or we could just download it and drop it
Yeah.
in. Yeah. Thank you. And I know Sindel is on. She's going to say, Agape, that looks good, but I can make it better. And I'll say, yes, you can. Yes, please.
I said no such thing.
Oh, yeah. So thank you, everybody, for being here, showing up, sharing your stories, sharing your journeys, sharing your nuggets. This is the perfect example of what we are all about: provoking thought, sharing statistics, giving insight, and showing that there is true transformation at the end of the tunnel. I just want to thank you all so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
You weren't just here by accident. Remember, we all showed up together boldly and bravely. And even, you know what? Now we've improved the dynamic even more. So your voice is your worth. And we absolutely helped prove that and share that today, to really say that here in this workshop and sharing our vulnerability and understanding that not only overcoming something was so important, but surviving through it. And now we can further learn what we learned here today. I know I will be talking about this for a long time to come, because this little mighty group here, it has helped me see that coming together, we all need a little bit more healing, and to understand that our voice is our worth, and that we are just important by ourselves, and we are important together. And I just want to leave with one last thing. Unless anybody has any other, we'll open up the floor and we can turn off the recording. But to say that money flows easy to me. Money flows easy to me from everywhere and anywhere unexpectedly. And those are some of the abundant chats that I say in the morning. And I see some difference in my life to know that being able to look myself in the mirror at that time and say, yes, I am opening that door in that time and space for me. Thank you so much, everybody, Mike and Angela, for sharing what you did, and Agape for the mission and the purpose and to be the drive, and Kelly and Bindle for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank everybody. Thank you so much. Yes. And to be continued and to carry on and just lift up others. It takes a community to serve a community.